Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful evening. Tonight it is very cold out where I am. It's in the negatives. And we're going to talk on this lovely, uh, what is it, Valentine's Day, is it? For us in the United States right now? Yes, it is. Happy Valentine's Day to those who have a significant other, and to those who do not, happy Singletine's Day. Anyway, we're going to be talking an in-depth look at the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. And one of the things that I liked about this movie was the story. Basically, I never played the game, so I don't know his origins in the game, but it was a decent story for what the movie was. And I actually liked it. Objectively, it's not the best movie, but honestly, I didn't expect it to be. The story starts with Sonic on his home world, and he's being raised as a baby by some owl named Long Claw, I think. And it was an interesting story plot. She gave him the bag of rings that we all know. I like how Paramount's introduction, instead of the stars, were actually the rings. That was actually pretty cool. And small deviation, there's a song that I like called Loch Lomond, and the song talks about the steep sides of Ben Lomond, which is a mountain, and the Paramount logo actually is the mountain known as Ben Lomond in Scotland. So yeah, that's a pretty interesting thing to know, you know? So back to the review. I thought Jim Carrey's acting was slightly over the top, but it still was befitting of the character of Robotnik, I guess. Like I said, I am not a huge player of the game. I played a couple times when I was a kid, but that was about it. I did like how his character was complete over the top, such a freaking douchebag, and got knocked down a peg or two every now and then. I liked how James Marsden's character was a caring person, but he still yearned for more. I mean, that's a very relatable thing that you can get into. The main thing that I loved about this movie that I didn't say in my review earlier, this movie was completely without agenda. They had absolutely no SJW identity politics nonsense in this movie at all. No real world politics, no SJW identity politics, none of that. And that is another reason why I truly enjoyed this movie, because it fulfilled a rarity in Hollywood right now. So I'm hoping other people will be willing to join, depending on whether or not they are able. I know that there are a couple people who are or who have seen it. But getting back to the story, basically Sonic as a child or a young child, he has basically been put on Earth by Longclaw because people were hunting Sonic to manipulate his power, basically for their own ends. And so he's sent to Earth by Longclaw. She gives him the bags of rings, and he's now stuck on Earth. And for 10 years, basically, he's been living amongst people in a small town, admiring them from the shadows, so to speak. Except that one person actually did learn or discover him and whatnot, and he made him, or they called him crazy because he's been trying, or they call him the Blue Devil because and whatnot. It's just, oh my gosh, it was funny. This movie had a lot of laughs, and because I'm a very boisterous laugher, I actually have to hold back a lot when it comes to laughing in theater because I could easily disturb another person's experience, which I don't want to do. I thought the casting was very good in this movie. The one that plays Marsden's wife or fiance, I think it's wife. Yep, wife, because they were talking about, or the sister wants her to divorce him and whatnot. I thought she was a brilliant actress. I can't remember her name. But there was a good dynamic between Marsden and her. The redesign of Sonic totally made the entire difference of the experience. For those of you who don't know, when the Sonic the Hedgehog movie had its first trailer, they showed Sonic, which was not Sonic. It looked totally unlike Sonic at all, and a lot of people did not, or a lot of people were completely turned off for this movie. They voiced their opinions on Twitter and the internet and the Paramount YouTube channel when the trailer dropped, and I have to give a huge shout out to Jeff Fowley because he listened. He heard people's criticisms. He heard what fans were saying. And he said, we are going to fix this. We are going to push the movie back. We are going to redesign Sonic to be more like the game version. And that is an important thing for Hollywood to learn. If you are willing to work and take lessons from those who are your consumers, you will learn and you will easily get a more respectful fan base. He listened to us and he redesigned Sonic, and the newer released trailer, everybody ate that shit up. And when I saw it, I'm like, this is a much better look. This is one I can get behind. This is one I can trust. And I made my promise as soon as the second that guy tweeted out, Jeff Fowley, the second he tweeted out, I have heard you, I am listening, we are going to fix this. I decided to support this movie. I wouldn't have cared if it had SJW politics. I still would put money into seeing this movie. I am so happy that it was without agenda. I absolutely loved the fact that this movie was without agenda because people are tired of it. They need to go to the theaters to escape. They want to take their kids to see something that they aren't going to ask questions that they're not ready for, you know? And like I said, when I pointed out I didn't release that video because I was completely burnt out. I also did discuss it in other live streams too, but there was a kid asking his mother why a woman was kissing another woman in a Star Wars movie. And she squirmed in her chair, not knowing how to answer. her kid. And she tried answering. She basically said some people love or some people love people in a different way, you know? And I'm so glad that there was no parent put in an awkward situation here, because all the people who came to see the movie tonight were, there was a couple parents and kids, and there was other adults and whatnot. And I enjoyed this movie. The kids were completely enraptured with this movie compared to the contempt we are treated with. It was a breath of fresh air. Indeed, Pal 265, and welcome to the stream. I am going to be discussing spoilers, so I hope you don't mind spoilers. Continuing on, the story, or Sonic basically is using the cops, James Marsden's speed gun, because he's a cop. He's using it as a speed gauge to see how fast he can go. First is 296, then it's 300. You see him hiding and celebrating. Sonic gives a speed lesson to a turtle. This movie was all around enjoyable, and I am very happy that I saw it tonight. Now, is it by any means a perfect movie? Hell no. I mean, I'm not a real huge fan of Jim Carrey anymore. I mean, his off-screen actions have kind of been a put-off and a turn-off. But I do gotta say that it is interesting to see him back on the big screen. It is interesting to see his acting again. And it kind of did bring me back to his acting chops when I was a kid. I absolutely loved the movies from when I was a kid. Liar Liar, The Mask, Ace Ventura movies, they were all great movies. And I absolutely loved Jim Carrey because he was such a hilarious guy. And he was ADHD like I was, so I had a connection, you know? And I thought he did a good job as Robotnik. The guy is a complete egomaniac with a huge narcissistic chip on his shoulder. And he plays it very well. Now, I don't know Robotnik's character in the game. I mean, I know him to be ruthless and stuff, and yes, you get that from Jim Carrey in this movie. But the character of Sonic, the loneliness he feels and whatnot at first, it truly makes you feel sorry for him, and it actually got me welling a little bit in the eyes to see a character who is lonely all the time. Believe it or not, I can actually relate with that. And whatnot. But I absolutely love the journey that Sonic takes. When he's introduced to the concept of a bucket list, it's like, oh my gosh, man. It was just completely nuts and cool at the same time. And yes, a lot of people are probably going to say, well, Robotnik's character does not look anything like Robotnik. Well, guess what? They are going to change a couple of things. But if you pay attention to later on in the end, he has reverted to Robotnik look. Bald with the really out there mustache, the bushy mustache, and the goggles. So yeah, he's going to be there. He's going to have it and whatnot. Now, the ending of the movie, where the government visits Marsden, I thought that was like, oh my gosh, did you seriously just give him what I thought you did? I mean, it shows that the government was watching him and this and that. But it the way that they just totally went cheap ass on him was freaking hilarious. But it was also a funny part too. And I'm not going to say that this movie had any political agendas or anything like that. They didn't. They honestly didn't. I mean, yes, the government was involved in this movie, but there was no political showboating or messaging in this movie, and that is how it should be. And I am absolutely very happy that this movie was without that kind of agenda. There was no identity politics agenda. I mean, people are or to the people who misidentify identity politics all the time, they're probably going to say, "Well, James Marsden's married to a black woman." So what? In the movie, people can have interracial relationships. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not identity politics. That's just normality. That's just normal. And anybody who thinks differently is fooling themselves. I mean, so what? His wife was black. That's not a problem. I mean, there's other people that I know, sadly, and no longer associate with, who would have possibly called that out as an SJW moment. I didn't, because it's not. If you want to talk about identity politics, then uh, his wife's character, or the woman who played his wife, would have been talking about how she's black all the time and how she's or SJW oppressed all the time and all those other stupid tropes. There was none of that in this movie. It was a brilliant movie that focused on the story, and it didn't focus on any outside narratives. And that is what is truly important. And that is why this movie is truly important, and I recommend it highly. Because by not putting that kind of stuff in and having a story that, and also having a director that listened to people and whatnot, it is very important that Hollywood learns from this movie's success if it is indeed successful. I mean, they are setting up for a sequel. There is a post-credit scene. Hello to the two people in the chat. Welcome to the stream. We're talking spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled, I would ask you to take or to leave so you don't get spoiled. But yeah, with the movie, or with the post-credit scene, there's another character from the games that is introduced, and that's Tails. And it's like, holy crap, man. They just set up for a sequel, and I love it. And I'm also wondering what Tails originally would have looked like. How you doing, Happy? Now I'm wondering what Tails' original design looked like. Because if Sonic's blue evil looking thing, if that original looking Sonic thingy that they had originally looked like that, what would Tails have looked like? I mean, I'm going to try to reach out to Jeff Foley and ask him, because honestly, I'm curious now. So seeing Tails in the small little post credit, it's interesting. Or now I'm completely interested. It's like, what did he look like? You know? But yeah. Hold on, just checking my Twitter right now. I am happy my day has gone awful today. Sorry to hear that, Happy. But I do wish you a happy Valentine's Day, or a happy Singletine's Day if you're single. I mean, this movie was a great movie. It's not a perfect movie. It's not going to be an Oscar-worthy movie. but it's definitely a movie that I can enjoy and support because it was completely without agenda. That is the important thing, folks. If you are just joining, this movie I rated it objectively a 3.5 out of 5. Subjectively, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. And yeah, fuck Valentine's Day indeed. And moviegoer, I gave it a 5 out of 5. I enjoyed the movie as a moviegoer. I was kept on the edge of my seat. I was totally immersed in the story. I did not look anywhere else but the screen. I enjoyed this movie. To keep my focus, a person with ADHD that is unmedicated ADHD and autistic, to be able to keep my eyes on the screen to focus on the story at all times, that's a very hard thing to do. This movie did it. And I gotta say, I am happy and very thankful that this movie did it, because I haven't had that experience in a long time. When I watched Birds of Prey in the theater a couple weeks ago, or I think it was a week ago, there was times that I was unfocused and I couldn't pay attention to it. How you doing, Soul Assassin? And I was always just taking my eyes off the screen because there was just stupid stuff in the movie that I was just going, oh, can't stand that stuff and whatnot. This movie is indeed a good movie, Soul Assassin. And I hope you guys enjoy watching it too. We are discussing spoilers. So if you don't mind spoilers, by all means stay. And you know something, Happy? I indeed recommend this movie, especially for those who have kids and whatnot. If you guys have kids, bring your kids to see this movie. I guarantee you they might actually like it. Because there was a woman that was a friend of mine in high school. She took her kids to see it. They enjoyed the movie. And they were very happy about it. And I thought this was a great and well done movie. The bar scene was a very funny and action-packed sequence. And I gotta say that it was one of the cooler scenes. Now, the city battle, of course, was even better, but it was the climax of the fight, of the final fight, that really pushed it. I mean, you got to basically see a kind of supersonic. I mean, not the yellow Sonic that the game or the gaming universe shows you, but a fully charged Sonic. I mean, you kind of get the Speed Force vibe. Nice. Happy. But yeah, you do kind of get a Speed Force vibe from Sonic the Hedgehog, and a wonderful thing is he reads the Flash comics, and it's like it's almost as if he can kind of channel a Speed Force in itself with him. I mean, it's just so cool. But you also feel for the character too, and that is something that's interesting, especially with CGI characters. It's very hard to feel for them, but when Sonic is having different emotions and stuff, so is this going to be the first successful video game movie? I truly do hope so, Soul Assassin. I truly do hope so, because this movie is a good movie. Objectively, it's an average movie. Subjectively, though, I gave this movie a 4.5 out of 5. And I think that this movie does deserve all the support it can get. I hope this movie makes 500 to 600 million. I mean, I honestly, that's what I would like to see, and I would like to see it even go higher than that, because this movie had a director that listened. He listened to the people who were consuming his product or who were going to consume his product. He understood that people were not happy with something that they are passionate about. And he said, I hear you. I am listening. We are going to fix this. And he did. The redesign of Sonic in this movie made a lot of difference, because I guarantee you, I can give you, or in my mind's eye, I was also watching this movie with the original design he had. Something that is very odd about me. I can do stuff like that. I can literally separate my mind and watch it in several different ways. It's just something weird that I can do. And I was able to watch the original Sonic look. I was able to kind of visualize what the ideas were and whatnot. And I was able to visualize it. And I'm going to tell you, objectively, it would have stayed 3.5 out of 5. But subjectively, it would have been like a 2.5 to 3 out of 5. I'm hoping it will make, it needs to make 300 or around 300 million to break even and make a little bit of profit. That would put it, or that would definitely put it in the profit margin. But I hope it makes a lot more than that. I want to see this movie make at least 450 million. I mean, this is a movie that I am probably going to see again while in theaters. I want this movie to get some more money. And I will definitely say this. Or back to how I would have scored it if they didn't change the design. It would have been a subjectively, it would have been a 2.5 to 3 out of 5. And the moviegoer experience would not have been a 5 out of 5. It would have been a 3 out of 5. I would not have enjoyed this movie if they had kept to the original design. But thankfully, Jeff Foley listened to people. And he did what he had to ensure that people would enjoy this movie if they were a fan of the Sonic franchise. Now, the city fight, oh my gosh, man. The only questions I do have about it, I mean, we're speaking objectively now. The city battle where Robotnik is going after Sonic, the government knows of Robotnik, and they basically assigned him to investigate the phenomenon that was caused by Sonic having a surge that caused the huge blackout that you see in the trailers. And then Neil McDonough, who is one of my known and favored actors in movies. I mean, I like Neil McDonough. He's a great actor. I liked him in the Arrowverse as what's his name? Damien Dark. And I liked him in so many movies growing up. The Angels in the Outfield. I liked him in many, many other movies. I liked him in, God damn it, the Chung-Li movie. Believe it or not, I actually didn't mind the Legend of Chung-Li movie because it had a great cast. Michael Clark Duncan, Neil McDonough, and Kristen Crook. I mean, I haven't seen Kristen Crook in anything lately, but yeah. But Neil McDonough playing a smaller role in this, where he's you see him as the person, or you see him as a military officer, and then you don't see him at all afterward. It's kind of disconcerting and discombobulating in a little bit. Sorry, I accidentally hit the send in the middle of what I was saying. I believe it'll make 300 million or higher and no lower. Yeah, I honestly do hope it will reach higher than 300 million. What did you think of the Street Fighter movie, Orange Hat? Well, objectively, it is out of style. I mean, it was objectively 3 out of 5, solid. Subjectively, I am a fan of Street Fighter, so I also like it was good casting and whatnot, so I enjoyed it. It was a 4 out of 5 subjectively. I mean, moviegoer, I would have put it at a 3.5 to 4 out of 5. But back to the Sonic thing. I like how they did the whole battle and whatnot. Well, in the Legend of Chun wasn't in it, but yeah, his character is indeed a cool character. From what I've learned, I mean, he gets even cooler with the whole Dark Huddle and whatnot. But yeah, I liked the anime Street Fighter 2 animated movie, unedited version, meaning all the scenes or the shower scene with Chun-Li, you see everything. I mean, yeah, I've seen that movie, and that was also a good movie. They didn't hold back. It was a Japanese anime movie, and you know what? They do very anatomically correct stuff. Let's just say that. But back to the Sonic movie. It was a good movie, again. And I think that people will enjoy it, especially if they bring their kids. There was no awkward questions that I heard at the Star Wars movie. I mean, I can't believe I even called that Star Wars just now, but it wasn't Star Wars. But anyway, this movie being without agenda, I cannot stress this enough. This movie being without agenda, no identity politics, no real world politics, none of that stuff. It kept me engaged. Legend has it, every time somebody complains about a Street Fighter movie, Capcom gets it all. That's good. But let me check my messages to see if anybody else has responded. Battery's all good. More people. Oh, thank you, Soul Assassin, for sharing. But yeah. I don't think he is paying much attention. No. Let's see what Discord's saying. Nope, just a bunch of stuff that I rarely pay attention to. I rarely pay attention to Discord, but I like being on it anyway. But yeah, the bar scene where he went full Speed Force, basically. Everything's frozen around him and he's able to just zip right through. Oh my gosh, that was a hilarious scene. I mean, him trying to do darts, it's just hilarious. I mean, they showed that from the trailer too, but oh my gosh, that was that was the story of this movie was very compelling. And it's a very good movie. I mean, I've already basically repeated myself a bunch of times during this, and I am going to start calling it night, folks. But yes, if you guys really do want to see a movie that you can enjoy, I do highly suggest this movie be watched by everyone in the fandom menace. Show your support for this movie. Show support for a director who listens and who is happy to pay attention to what people are saying and who will not insult people. And also, Birds of Prey sucks. To all those idiots, a lot of streams are on tonight and it's Valentine's, so many people might be busy. Yeah, I get that. And that's why I'm only keeping this one short and sweet. But see that Sonic movie, it won't make you blue. And indeed it won't. I mean, not in that sense anyway. But yeah, the movie was great, man. And for me to actually stay focused on a movie like that, that was actually a very good thing. Birds of Flop, indeed, man. I mean, changing the title is not going to help that movie. And all those SJWs that are anti-Sonic for some weird reason, they should be ashamed of themselves because they attacked a movie that is very good and it's very heartwarming. It's a very it's an emotional jerk, or it's tear jerker in some areas, and it's an emotional roller coaster too. I mean, you're gonna feel for Sonic in this movie. You're gonna feel emotions for him that you don't. It's hard to get that kind of emotional connection with a CGI character. It really is. And I'm actually happy that I actually was able to feel something, you know? Don't see birds of praying for China dollars. Yeah, I know. I mean, chances are this movie has a Chinese release as well. Sonic does. So, I mean, it might not because of the whole coronavirus thing, but yeah. But anyway, folks, I am going to wrap it up around here now. So you all know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Get this video out there. Make sure you guys save this video so you can share it and whatnot. I do enjoy more views and likes. Please smash the like button. It really does help support my channel more than you know. It also assures me that I'm kind of on the right track, you know. Because I'm actually, or earlier today I did tweet out that I am kind of burnt out a little bit. I'm not getting as many views as I would like. I mean, I do have 300 subscribers and whatnot, but it's like I'm only averaging around 7 to 15 likes, and it's like, yeesh, you know. Have a good one, Soul Assassin. But yeah, it is kind of disconcerting disconcerting to. I mean, I just wish I had more feedback, you know. Anyway, folks, that is the video. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below if you weren't a part of the live chat. And this has been Orange Hat Reviews, and I will catch you all on the next one. Take it easy, folks. Happy Valentine's Day.